Good afternoon, everybody. Well, we're back here again, and this afternoon I have a guest with me from Japan, a Japanese lady, but she's living in Berlin, and we're going to both be talking about the entire first stage. Also, we're going to be talking about competitions, but to begin, I think perhaps we could have a little bit of introduction, and I will introduce myself a little bit later, and Yoko Tsunekawa will tell us a little bit about herself. Can you?
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Michael.
Hello.
I'm glad to be here to talk about a little bit about myself and about the piano world because it is about this. If I introduce myself, I'm a music journalist working all about piano. Piano means pianist, piano factory, piano competition, piano festival as well. So for all about piano.
I see.
And sometimes I'm journalist, so I'm writing for the newspaper, for the magazine, for Japan, for France. And sometimes I'm on the board of the jury member. Sometimes I'm coordinating some concert.
I see. So you're very involved.
And so my life is only with the piano. No, it's not true because I love all instruments, but I have to focus. That's why.
Yes. Well, I don't only have connection with the piano. I also I'm a writer actually, an author, and I've written a biography and novels and travel book about Poland and so on. But I studied music seriously when I was younger. I should have been told that I didn't have the talent for this, but I kept going till I was about 25, I suppose, and then I stopped studying. But I've always, of course, kept the interest because once it starts, it's like a virus in your body.
You cannot stop it.
You can't stop it. That's exactly right. No. I thought we might, since you're so involved with competitions, we could discuss the idea of competitions a little bit, and you could tell me about what competitions you've been to that were interesting, and I can tell you about a couple that I've been to in Poland that were particularly interesting, but not known outside of the country.
Okay, I started very young during my studies of piano, but I was the side of the audience. I was 7 years old. It was during the Queen Elizabeth competition, my first competition. I was with my parents.
Goodness me, and you were 7 only?
Yes.
Really?
And I was dreaming, like all everybody, to be on the stage one day,
right,
to play on the stage. Now I have another play. I'm playing the role to be a journalist, so it's another phase of the stage, I think. But since it was still the Iron Curtain time, so it means that the world was a little bit different than today.
Very different.
Very different, and I think we don't have so much competition. Actually, from Marta Argerich Alink Foundation, they have 815 and more international piano competition.
What? 815?
Yeah.
God.
So actually the problem probably is to choose the right competition.
I see.
To say it really fits my idea, my ideology, or my It's all about this, actually, I think.
So tell me, what competitions did you find? I mean, we all know about the International Chopin competition in Warsaw. I mean, it's one of the most famous in the world, if not the most famous. But what other ones have you been to? I'm sure that some of them I won't know.
I went for the Queen Elizabeth competition. It's every year, yes. I went to Van Cluben. I went to a lot. I don't... Busoni recently.
And are they run in the same way as this competition?
No, each competition has their own character.
Right.
Busoni they have in 2 years the first half and the second half the next year.
Oh, is that right?
So you can have you can. This is a funny thing because you hear them the first year, and you saw a kind of several months later how they grow because some are 15, 16, 17 years old. It means that every day they are changing, and so I met several of them. After just 1 year, how changing for them.
And
And this is
do you go
interesting.
to competitions in Japan?
Yes, Hamamatsu competition.
Ah, yes, that's a big one, isn't it?
It's every 3 years.
Mm-hmm. And what one would you say is the most exciting, or are they all very similar?
Oh, I think it's very different, like I say, for the character. But the Queen Elizabeth competition is one of the very tough competition.
Yes.
It's also 1 month, but the the finalists, they will go to the 1 week in the Waterloo, La Chapelle Musicale, they call it.
Ah, yes.
So they are out of internet, no mobile, nothing. So no connection to the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
They are fixed with a new score for it's a obligatory piece.
Like a commissioned piece for
Commissioned piece,
yes.
yes. The new piece that they open and they have to work with their own ability.
Yes, yes, of course.
So it's very demanding. And usually they are much more involved with the surrounding, with Facebook and this.
Yes,
To
yes.
be completely cut by this, it's more than we can
for sure.
imagine.
Mm-hmm. And when was the last competition? You've come to this one for a few days.
Yes.
And
my last one was Busoni. I just
see.
Out from Busoni last September.
Because I think you're going tomorrow, aren't you? It's a pity you're not here for
Yeah,
longer.
it's a pity. It's a really pity for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand. No, in Poland there is almost an explosion of festivals and competitions now. I have just come back from the Arthur Rubinstein Festival in Łódź, and it was so emotionally moving for me because Rubinstein's daughter, Eva Rubinstein, she was there. And so it brought a type of, well, if you are a little bit like this, it brought the atmosphere and the magic of Rubinstein back into his, well, it's in the museum now, but in the concert we felt somehow he was partly there, you know?
Yeah, of course.
And there was a young sculptor from the Tatra Mountains of Poland, which are in the south, and he had, as part of a thesis exercise, actually, he had decided to sculpt a head of Arthur Rubinstein. And he was there, young man, to present this head to Eva and the museum. It was very moving. She was watching ballet because she used to be a ballerina. And they put on 2 short ballets, one based around Chopin's music, and the other one was sort of mazurkas. But just to watch her watching was a very moving experience.
Oh,
you can imagine.
Yeah.
And actually the winner of the last Rubinstein competition, Szymon Nering, gave a short recital there. He played a Chopin sonata. And but you see, this type of festival, which only lasted for a week, is not really well known, you know, and it's a great pity because, I mean, Rubinstein, I was talking about tone yesterday, and of course some people think Rubinstein had the most beautiful tone of all pianists. Maurizio Pollini thought that, for example. The other one I went to, there's this big festival in Warsaw every year called Chopin and His Europe. It's called Chopin i Jego Europa, and it's based partly around original instruments because the Chopin National Institute have got a collection of early instruments, and they persuade great artists like Marta Argerich and João Pires, for example, to play them, and I've heard them play concertos on these early instruments. It's the most amazing thing, you know, with the period orchestra, and particularly, I think it was the 3rd piano concerto of Beethoven that Maria João Pires played. It was absolutely superb. But she's got a thought about competitions. She doesn't really like them. She thinks that they are not art. That's how she put it. what do you think, What do you think, Yoko? I mean, about competitions, like what are the strengths, things that are good about a competition, and things that are perhaps a bit negative about them?
Yeah, the competition is a chance for everybody, a chance for the auditor to listen the new young artist, and also I think it's a chance for the contestant to be known for all over the world by internet.
Well, that's absolutely right. But of
And,
course, you might be terrified by this.
Yes, it is. But what is a life after? They are not only for the competition.
That's right.
The real life start maybe from the podium, but after they have to go on, but they have to be ready for this. And I think the competition show exactly the reality of the world.
Yes, because it's very tough.
It's very tough. You have to be prepared. You have to show your best.
That's absolutely right.
And it's a lot of element. And also you have a lot of, for example, the director of many festivals,
Right.
the recording.
Yes.
It's a lot of small elements. So I'm not negative for this. And also behind the pianist,
Yes,
you have the piano factory who are working so hard for them. It means that it's a kind of, it's not good to say it's a business, but it's this who makes us possible to play.
but actually there are historical precedents for this. I mean, the composer Clementi, which we're going to hear soon, he did everything. He manufactured pianos, he was a pianist, he a composer, all sorts of things. And of course, Chopin said he adored the Pleyel piano, which was very helpful to Pleyel, I'm sure, economically, as well as the fact that Chopin did actually love the sound of those instruments. That's absolutely true. My feeling for strengths of competition is it trains stamina. I don't know if you know this word. Stamina means the ability to continue, even if a bomb has exploded or something like that, to be able to have the strength, because these competitions are very, very demanding. I think people watching the competition don't quite understand how demanding this is and what a high level these participants are.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's very easy to become blasé about this. But, I mean, all of the contestants here can play piano concertos. They can play just about everything because they have to present a complete profile of their abilities and imagine that they are going to get into the final. And sometimes it's a shock for them and they get the horrors because they haven't actually prepared enough. And they suddenly think, oh my God, I've got to play a concerto tonight. Yes. With regard to the weaknesses, I think I think what Maria João Pires was trying to say about it not being art is, of course, you're in competition with other people. It's the other people's existence, I think, and this motivation has got very little to do with playing a Chopin ballade because you want to present this great artwork to the public. But I think it balances itself.
The balance, yes. It's all about balance, I think, yeah.
But do you think there are any weaknesses?
Well, no, not really.
No.
And you?
Well, that one, and also being judged by people of your own age. I mean, social media has Facebook, right? And I know a number of young pianists because people put on Facebook, your recital was rubbish. I mean, these actual words. I mean, a serious music critic would never write such a thing. But on Facebook, this can happen, of course. And I mean, if you're 18 or 19 and somebody says something like that, it has an effect on you.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, what I write has an effect, and I feel an enormous responsibility. I mean, you must feel the same, do you?
Absolutely, yeah. My work is to make a bridge to every kind of possibility.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, to criticize it's so easy, but how we can do that? Yeah.
I don't think it's very easy to criticise. I have to be so diplomatic and yet honest. That's the difficulty, is to balance honesty and integrity. This is terribly difficult.
True.
And if you do feel it was bad, how do you say that this was in a constructive way, so that he will learn something and not feel that you're just some sort of failed pianist who's being nasty?
True,
That's
completely.
the thing. Anyway, I think it's time for us to listen to some of the outstanding moments that you chose.
Good idea.
Yes. What are we going to begin with? Because the strange thing in this competition, wasn't it true, that the first pianist was absolutely wonderful?
It is.
And I mean,
The open from him was like.
and I thought, is this because I'm just beginning in the competition, and I'm just sitting here, and this is the first pianist, or is he really this good? So, what are we going to hear actually?
We will listening Clementi from Pier Domenico.
Pierre Domenico.
Leonardo.
Ah, Leonardo.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's Leonardo Pier Domenico. Yes, the Clementi.
The
That's
sonata.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, Yoko, I think Italians have got a particular, I said this in the first session, that they have a particular relationship with Clementi, They
Of
love
course.
playing Clementi, and there are lots of Italians who've recorded Clementi's sonatas. Yes, he looked as though he was enjoying
And we
himself.
understand this. Yeah.
Yes.
And I like this piano, this Fazioli.
It's the
was
Fazioli,
really
yes.
Yeah. And to choose a piano is also one of the important things during the competition, don't you think?
I think it is,
Yeah.
and it's an extraordinary luxury if you think about it. There were 4 pianos, weren't there? There's the Yamaha, the Steinway, the Kawai, and the Fazioli. Yes, and I believe that they were equally chosen by participants in the competition. I
Yeah.
heard this statistic today, something like
True.
12 each or something like that. And what did you choose next?
I choose next a Chinese, 23 years old,
Mm-hmm.
Hao Liye, I think. From him, Janacek in the Mist.
Ah, Janacek in the Mist. That's
so
a lovely
beautiful.
work.
Yeah.
It's the most beautiful piece of music, and it's not well known, is it? No. So we're going to hear that. Now, you're as intelligent as I am, I'm quite sure, and you will absolutely know that has no relation to Janacek at all, and it's certainly, the mists are probably in my brain rather than in the music. Why I chose this particular piece was actually the sound of this instrument and the way this particular pianist played it. He started with Scarlatti.
Yeah, it's a cowboy.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. He comes from which country?
I think
Is it
from
yes, he's from China also.
China also.
Yes,
Yeah.
because the Chinese have got this ability, haven't they, to create a most extraordinary sound.
Mm-hmm. True.
And I remember this particular one. Yes. Okay, so we'll listen to In the Mists this time. Right? Let's hope anyway. Yes, yes. Yes, now this pianist, we were both talking just then, we really think that he'll be highly placed in this competition, don't we?
Yeah.
He plays with an intensity and control and mastery of the keyboard given to few of the participants. I think he's an extraordinary pianist.
Yeah.
So, let's try the
What's
lottery
next?
again, shall we? What's the next one?
The next song was from Poland.
Ah, from Poland.
Yes. He played a Szymanowski variation, B
Mhm.
flat minor. Wicholek Marcin.
Marcin. I know that much. Marcin Pacholec it is. Yes.
Wicholek.
So, Marcin Wicholek, you like this piece and the way he plays it?
Yes,
Mm.
very intense, and he's so a little bit fragile in a way, but he gave us a lot of love, and this is enough for me.
I see.
I was out from the competition. I was in his universe.
Oh, I see. So
yeah.
he had that effect on you. My goodness. Yes, this work of Szymanowski's was quite popular, wasn't it? It was chosen by a number of participants
yeah, it's true.
here.
Mhm.
Hmm. And the final one is Pakolec, yes?
Yes, another Polish pianist, Paderewski Mamil.
Mm-hmm.
I chose from his Debussy La Sérénade Interrompue, and it was really interrompu.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Right. Well, we were going to end shortly, and it's a pity that you won't be here for the next stage and see who goes through. But you'll hear the news because you're staying here for the evening. So
Yes, I will.
yeah, so you'll know who
Yes.
goes through at least. Yes, because it's a very difficult decision for the jury. I think they have to because the level is so high and yet so equal in some ways.
True.
That's one of the big
But I
problems.
think for me it's not who will win the prize is not a problem. It's just to say I had my love for several of the
Yes.
contestants, and this is my gift from the competition.
Yes.
And I think we are always asked, do you think, how about the level? It's not, I think the level is only at the end of the competition to say, I heard this and this and this and this, and if you have a lot, I think this is the level of the competition,
Yes.
finally.
Yes. Well, we'll go out on a little bit of a festive note of Kamil Pakolec playing the Liszt arrangement of Gounod's waltz from the opera Faust. Okay, so it's goodbye, and
I don't want to say goodbye.
It was
but,
very, very nice talking to
I
you.
enjoyed it
And
very much.
Thank you so
very
much. Okay, bye. Goodbye, and I'll see you tomorrow at much the same time, 3:30. Bye.
Enjoy.
Dzień za dniem, noc za nocą. Nasze życie upływa pod bezkresnym niebem. Szukamy w nim odpowiedzi na wiele pytań, obserwując jego ogrom. Marzymy o rzeczach wielkich, ale życzymy sobie rzeczy prostych. Staramy się znaleźć czas na wszystko. A czasem wszystko jest kwestią chwili. Bywa, że jesteśmy gdzieś kilka chwil przed czasem. A bywa, że poświęcamy lata na realizację naszych marzeń. Myślami wybiegamy do przodu, ale jesteśmy świadomi, że życie toczy się tu i teraz. Błękit nieba pobudza naszą wyobraźnię i sprawia, że wszystko na ziemi staje się wyjątkowe. Spoglądamy w niebo z dobrego miejsca na ziemi.